So this video is on a sleeping parabola, which is a sideways parabola. The general equation is is x equal a times the quantity y minus k squared plus h. Now you do have to be careful. Our locator points, our vertex, our starting point, they're always h comma k, where h is our x and k is our y. Now in the parenthesis here, you see that we have a y. So whatever is in this parenthesis is actually going to be affecting our y direction. And that's why we have a k here, because k is always associated with our y. And then this h out here is going to be the x coordinate. Now, the parent equation is x is equal to y squared. And this is an inverse of y equal x squared. That's where you switch your x and your y. So I'm going to graph x equal y squared, but first I want to rewrite it so that we see if I was to get this to be in y equal form, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to take the square root of this, which means I'm going to square root both sides. So when I square root my x, I get a positive and a negative. I always get a positive and negative when I take the square root. And then I'll have a y. So really what's going to happen here is I'm going to get a positive and I'm going to get a negative square root. So let me first graph the positive square root, which we've already done in an earlier video. So I'm going to start at 0. The square root of 0 is 0. I'm going to go out 1. The square root of 1 is 1. I'm going to go out to 4. The square root of 4 is 2. I'm going to go out to 9, and the square root of 9 is 3. So I'm going to go up 3. Now, I'm going to do the negative square root. Well, 0, square root of 0 is 0, times it by a negative, still 0. I'm going to go out 1. Square root of 1 is 1, times that by a negative, negative 1. Go out 4. Square root of 4 is 2, times that by a negative, so negative 2. And 9, square root of 9 is 3, times that by negative 3. And then you see we have our positive square root and we have our negative square root. Now together, this is x equal y squared. Now, if I turn this, rotating it 90 degrees counterclockwise, you see that I end up getting a parabola, a regular y equal x squared parabola. 1 squared is 1, and 2 squared is 4, and 3 squared is 9. It's just turned on its side. Now, the way you can graph your vertex and then rotate your paper and just graph a regular parabola from there, or let me get it back. What's happening here is instead of going out 1 and squaring 1 and out 2 and squaring 2, what's happening is we switched our x and our y. So I'm going to be going up 1 and down 1. So up 1, 1 squared is 1. So I go out 1. Up 2, 2 squared is 4. Up 3, 3 squared is 9, and so forth. So let's do one where we have it being transformed. So for this one, first I need to find my vertex, and I have to be careful because this is going to affect my y. Okay, so my vertex is going to be -5, comma 3. Again, this with my y is going to affect my y. So I'm going to start my graph at -5, comma 3. And then remember, it's going to be opening to the right. It's going to open in the x direction. X equal parabolas open in the x direction. Y equal parabolas open in the y direction. But I'm not going to be going out 1 and squaring. I'm going to be going up 1. 1 squared is 1. I'm going to go out 1. Same here. Go up 2. 2 squared is 4. So I'm going to go out 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Go up 1, 2, 3. 3 squared is 9. So that's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And there is my sideways parabola. Again, if I was to flip this, I would have a regular open up parabola, instead of opening right, if I rotate it counterclockwise, you see from my vertex, I'm going 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. Okay, so let's try one with a stretch. And how about we make it a negative stretch? So this one, let's try x is equal to -2 times the quantity y minus 5 squared plus 8. Now, if this is positive, it opens in the positive x direction. Since this is negative, it's going to open in the negative x or left direction. And our vertex is going to be 8, comma 5. So I'm going to go to 8, comma 5. Okay, so 8, comma 5. And from here, I'm still going to be going up 1. 1 squared is 1, but I'm going to times it by -2, so I'm going to go this direction too. I'm going to go up 2. 2 squared is 4, times that by -2, and I'm going to go to -8 away. And let's say I went 3. 3 squared is 9, times that by a -2, and it's going to be -18, so that's 8, and another 10. It's going to put me here, in here. And there is my sleeping parabola. And again, if I preferred, after I find my vertex and plot it, I could, again, turn it always counterclockwise. And from here, since it was negative, instead of opening up, it's going to open down. So I square 1, times it by -2. I square 2, times it by -2. I'd square 3, times it by -3. And you see I'd be getting an upside down graph, but when I flip it back, it is opening to the left. Hopefully this helps you graph sleeping parabolas.